Hi.
Hi. Great to be chatting with you this morning.
Good talking to you.
All right, so we're going to jump right in.
Okay.
Nobody marked a big shift in action territory for you. What drew you to the action genre at this point in your career?
Well, I sort of became well known as an actor at an older age. I think I started Breaking Bad when I was 46, and then Better Call Saul 52. And so when I was 53 or 4, second season of Better Call Saul, I learned that they were playing the show around the world. I thought, wow, I'd love to make a feature film that plays around the world, where all the people who know me as Saul are, and action plays around the world as well. It is a genre that they take older people as leads. I'm not young, I'm not super handsome, I don't have a lot of muscles, but I was willing to train, and also I knew that my character Saul was known as a guy who never quits and is very clever. That's qualities that you would have in an action character. So the only thing missing really was the fighting, and I was totally up for that. And as well, I had sort of some story ideas in that my family had 2 break-ins, and I felt a great deal of rage towards the assholes who fucking did that. And I would love a chance in a movie scenario to beat the crap out of some bad guys. So all those component parts made me call my manager, Mark Professero, and say, what do you think about an action film? I think I'd be willing to do it. I'd try hard, and we could use this emotional scenario that I have as an impetus for a story. Through a long series of interviews and meetings, we met different writers, and finally through Braden Aftergood, another producer, we met Derek Kolstad, who wrote John Wick. And Derek liked my notions for a story, and he wrote Nobody.
You mentioned the break-ins and how angry they made you. I was re-listening to your Armchair Expert interview this morning.
Yeah.
And you talked to Dax about being held up outside your car, and like you were literally an action figure, like an action star in that moment. And you told the guy to like fuck off, basically.
So I was younger. Well, you do know the core of that story was how tired I was. I had been up for 2 full days. So I'd gotten up at Tuesday morning. I had worked at Saturday Night Live. We worked all night Tuesday night. We worked all morning Wednesday morning. We did the read-through on Wednesday. Then I got in a car. Then I went to the airport. Then I flew to Chicago. Then I did the improv set at Second City. Then I was headed home. So it was 1:30 a.m. in Chicago. I had woken up the day before in New York, and somebody pulled a gun on me, and he put it right to my face, and he said, give me your money. And I said, hold it, wait, I got my money. And I pulled out my car, I opened my car, and I got out my bag, and I unzipped it. When I did that, I was on my knees, and I had a gun at my head, and I unzipped this bag. And I look up at him, and he's thinking, what I'm thinking, well, I'm thinking I wish I had a gun in here. And he's thinking, does he have a gun in there? I mean, he had a gun on my head, so if I'd pulled a gun on, I still wouldn't have made it. But I didn't. I was getting money, and so I got my pants out. I got my wallet out. I gave him the money. I think it was $300, maybe more. And I figured he'd be very happy with that. Like, he'd be like, holy shit, score. He takes the money, and he goes, get your girlfriend out of the car. And I go, what? He goes, get her out of the car. I want whatever she's got. I go, get the fuck out of here. I gave you $300. I go, look how much money I gave you. I was just tired. And when we talked to the police, a half hour later, and I told them what happened, they looked at me like, what? And I go, well, I mean, I figured he doesn't really want to shoot me, right? And the police officer looks at me and goes, when someone pulls a gun on me, I assume they want to shoot me. I thought, wow, no, you're probably right about that. But in this case, I yelled at him, get the fuck out of here. Look at that money. Go, go, go. And he took off.
So you've like kind of been an action hero.
Was I a badass? I don't know. I was a stupid ass.
Sometimes those are the same thing, though.
They can maybe be the same thing.
You talked about kind of the stunts and the that
Yep.
part of being an action hero. Was doing the stunts your hope and intention as you headed?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so after I said I want to do this, then I thought long and hard about, being an action character. And one of the thoughts I had was, what can I contribute to this genre, which is peopled by mostly younger guys, mostly very handsome people, or people who are very muscled up and look like scary fighters. And I thought, well, I don't have any of those qualities. Well, I'm willing to train, and I'm an actor. I've acted a great deal, and I've learned a lot about acting, and sort of thought at length about my own presence on screen. And I thought, well, I could play the character even when I'm fighting. So a lot of action stars, for various reasons, mostly for the characters that are scripted for them, sort of go into robotic mode when they fight. They just do the movements with a kind of a flat lack of reaction, really. And that's very cool, and it looks cool. But I thought, what if I played the guy even during the fight? And what if I played a guy who was unsure of himself, either because in the case of Hutch, it's been years since he's done this stuff. And I could also play getting hurt and sort of degrading physically through the fight. And at the end of Nobody 2, my character is sort of like limp. He's just gotten the shit kicked out of him. And that's not something most action leads would ever be asked to do or be willing to do. And I thought, well, that would be something I could bring, a vulnerability into the action space. And I think one of the things that's interesting that I learned is that works, and that's cool, and it kind of raises the stakes because you're watching your lead character kind of fall apart, and so it becomes more scary a little bit. But you can be too vulnerable, and I feel like I've gotten close to that edge sometimes, which is to say, he's still the lead character, and you still want to root for him. And it's hard to root for somebody who might be be really compromised. So it's weird. I have to modulate that. I realize I have to go to the edge of falling apart, but I can't go all the way. I have to still look in my eyes like I'm here to kick ass, and I want to finish this fight.
Was there one stunt in Nobody 2 that was like particularly challenging?
Oh, in Nobody 2, the finale of the piece is a fight at a water park at night. And we shot that all night for a week. That's hard. It's hard to shoot nights for multiple days in a row. I enjoyed all the stunt fighting in Nobody 2, and it was within my wheelhouse, which I would say has expanded a little bit, even since Nobody 1, where I kept training after Nobody 1. So I was in a better place to start prepping for Nobody 2. I was able to do more fighting in Nobody 2 because of the fact that I kept the training up. I did cut my hands on the boat, and it was the kind of accident that you have on set because I was meant to climb up out of the water as planned, as choreographed, and I said, oh, I want to grab this, and I grabbed a piece of metal that had not been finished, and it was very sharp, and it just cut right across my fingers. But those are the kinds of accidents that people always ask you if you get hurt. You don't get hurt if you have choreographed the fight well and if you've warmed up. The only times I've been hurt, once on Better Call Saul and once on Lucky Hank. I enjoyed that show, but I did get hurt doing it. In both cases, I got hurt running, and it was because I didn't warm up.
You mentioned you paired up with the writer on John Wick for Nobody. If Hutch and John Wick ever faced off, who's walking away and why?
Well, I think John Wick's walking away because John Wick is a supernatural creation, and Hutch is natural.
Fair enough. And then we've talked about Saul just a bit, but what characteristics does Hutch have that Saul Goodman doesn't, and vice versa?
Violence, physical violence. I don't think Saul's interested in using his words to win a fight. Hutch really doesn't have the words. Hutch is, he struggles, I think, with that. I mean, he's a guy who holds everything in.
Is there one of those two that you maybe personally relate to more as a character?
No, I think I relate to them both equally, and I don't relate to them both equally. So I think I understand Saul's striving. I understand his struggle with feelings of from being a younger person and just carrying those forward through your life. Saul has a chip on his shoulder, and I think I do too, maybe less so. Saul is also good with words and logic. I'm okay with it. The rage that Hutch expresses, I also feel. I'm not violent with people, but I definitely relate to that. I think a lot of people do. I do think that one of the challenges in being a human being is you have these instincts and feelings, and you know that you shouldn't act on them. And that's true. But also, what do you do with them? You know? So movies and books and comic books and certain exercise classes are places you can take those desires to act out. Yeah.
You spent years inhabiting the world of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
What stands out most from working in that universe?
What stands out most is the seriousness of purpose on the part of the actors. Ray Seahorn, Patrick Fabian, Michael Mando, Jonathan Banks, Tony Dalton, just everybody who participated in Better Call Saul, and the same was true of Breaking Bad, and the same was true of Nobody. When you're making a genre film like an action picture, you can certainly understand some people thinking, well, this is easy, it's just a plug and play, you just do that part, whatever it is, and you don't have to ask yourself questions about motivation or texture, because there is no texture. But I just don't agree. I agree that in the end, you are making a comic book, and you are making an entertainment, something that exists to expressly entertain and divert people from the struggles of life, of daily life. You're meant to be an escapist, fun. But I also think that as an actor, when you do that work, whether it really resonates with people or not, the audience, they get that that you cared. It matters in all the small moments, sort of between the lines, that you've put that thought into it. And I think that the fact that everybody in these movies, Nobody and Nobody 2, sees me do it and sees me talking about it and wanting to do that work, they all bring it too. They all do the same thing. And it matters. You make a richer film. Connie Nielsen as Becca is the greatest example. You know, actors, when you start talking to them about their part and you express some interest in their part being textured, and you go like, who is your guy and what are they thinking? And what if you had these feelings in your running through your heart at this moment, and they're a bit contradictory to what you're playing, or something like that. When you have those conversations, they perk up, because I don't think they're always asked to do that. You know, they go, oh, I want to do that kind of work. I want to think on those levels about my part. So again, in the end, I just want to say, I know we made a genre movie, and I know Nobody 2 is entertaining as hell and fun. It's just fun. Everything is fun. The expressions of, fear and the expressions of love are kind of fun to watch, and a bit cartoonish, and very cartoonish in the last 20 minutes. We want this world to become just pure cinema at the end. But I still think it matters. I think you feel it, that the actors put that time in.
Yeah, and talking about work that matters, work that resonates. You were nominated multiple times for an Emmy for Saul Goodman.
Yeah.
And fans have been outraged at you not being a winner. They've called it a TV travesty. How do you personally process those moments? Do you consider them snubs?
So look, I have 2 Emmys for writing. So I'm very proud to have won Emmys, and I'm very, very proud to have been nominated for Emmys. I always felt I should have won for writing for Mr. Show, because I think that was the best writing I've done. I've got to say, the opportunity to do Saul and the luck of being invited to take on that challenge at an older age is such a crazy gift that I didn't even earn. I mean, I didn't take acting classes. I didn't audition. Guys, I've been rewarded way, way, way past anything I deserve with this career that I have. So, yeah, I don't think that, I don't think I should have any expectation to win awards. Being nominated certainly is enough. And when you think about how many wonderful shows there are now, that's another reason why being nominated is a win.
I think your resume speaks for itself. You have earned, you put in the work.
Well, I've gotten a lot of, I've learned a lot in doing the job. You know, I've learned at work, yeah. And that went for sketch writing, too. I mean, Lorne Michaels hiring me to write at Saturday Night Live. The next 4 years, I just learned. This is a job that you learn the best at doing it. Yeah. So if in your classroom you're doing this job, whatever it is, writing, acting, then the classroom time is being well spent. I also think that a lot of my friends don't really believe in analyzing comedy and analyzing sort of what we do. It's like being an athlete. It's like asking a runner, you know, a sprinter, what's it like in the middle of a race? Like, I don't know, because I'm not thinking. I'm just doing. You know, that's it. I'm just doing. But I don't agree. I think you can analyze it. And I do. I analyze comedy and I analyze acting. And then in the end, when you go do that thing, you have to throw out a certain amount of that analysis. You have to throw out the analytic mindset. But having said that, I still think there's something to be said for sitting around and going, well, now this is what we did with that joke, and this is why it worked, and maybe, you know, it could have been different. And one of the things I'm most excited about with Nobody 2 is the degree to which it succeeds in the way that I hoped it would when we started. So it's more expansive film. One of the things I was surprised about with Nobody 1 was how many people of different stripes liked it. Men, women, liberals, conservatives, every kind of person seemed to like that film. And I realized that those feelings, those embedded, rageful feelings that you don't know what to do with, everybody feels those. So what I wanted to do in Nobody 2 was expand that out and make a wider variety of fights and a wider variety of tones in the film. It's still a nobody film, you know, but it's funnier and it's more avowedly funny. And certainly there's a fight on the duck boat that is more humorous within the fight.
On a duck boat?
Yeah, on a duck boat. Yeah. Well, we're in a small vacation town and they have duck boats there.
You sure do. I've never ridden on a duck boat. I don't think it's for me.
Oh, I've been on them many times.